Hi, welcome. In this video, I'd like to respond to a question I got regarding making the transition from a pinch collar to a flat collar and the best relational path to take. Now, oftentimes I get questions, and I want to put out a video because it's helpful because it's the same type of questions that I get sometimes. So I just want to explain the transition. The scenario is that someone coming to me for help with their dog, and they have a pit bull or a dog holding a tremendous amount of power, a bigger dog, and this person has a pinch collar because clearly they need control over that dog, and that's common sense. Okay, yes, absolutely. And this is where the issue about understanding the what takes precedence, okay, and the sequence of getting to where you need to go relationally with that person, understanding what the best devices are to kind of fill in the gap, so to speak, so the person has both a high level of control that they need, but they're able to create some change at the same time. And so the device that you really want to focus in on for that would say a person needs that control, because again, you don't want them getting pulled down as they're making this transition. I mean, there's situations that they're going to get involved with that put them at a higher risk of that. And so therefore you do need that, they need that control. And the other issue too is their thinking. You don't want to throw them off. If they go right from, say, one device to another and they're panicked over it and deep down, that the dog feels that. I mean, that will really cause a problem. So you need to kind of be aware of, like, as you build their confidence up, how to switch them over. But again, talking about tools, what is the best tool? Well, the best tool as a go-in-between point is the pressure collar, or what people call the choke chain. Now, I have another video on this, a couple videos about how to use that as a secondary tool. Again, I put out a video recently about, talk about secondary tools. But in this context, in this scenario, again, it's better to switch them over to that, but again, slowly. So, for example, is keep that pinch collar on that dog while you're making the switch, okay? But you're explaining to them about why and how to use the tool. So the pressure collar up high in the neck, and you can have both collars on at the same time. Even in this scenario, before you even put the flat collar on, go from pinch to the pressure collar, because that's the best collar to have on. But again, the person has both collars, so they can have that pinch collar on as you're doing different little exercises, and then certain points switch over to the pressure collar. But again, the good thing about the pressure collar is that you can speak some language through that. Whereas with the pinch collar, they're into a control management situation. Just understand the dog is going to be, yes, it'll look great. I talk about those pinch collars, but it's not a good tool to use to set up change. It's not a good in-between point, okay? Better to switch over to the pressure collar. But again, when I talk about pressure collar, this isn't about crank and yank here, okay? People assume certain things based on whatever, but that's not what it is. It's about being ahead of the curve of the mind of the dog, okay? They can speak the language through that pressure collar, done in such a way that you're creating some slack. You speak in moments, but you can speak, see, it's like sharper language. It's like a little bit of a clearer message. Whereas, say, with the pinch collar, it's like screaming at the dog. If you yank on that thing, I mean, how it's designed is it's not a good tool to use. Especially, here's the other issue, is the person becomes more powerful in their thinking, like you become the system. It changes the dynamic and the meaning of these tools, okay? It manifests differently, and it'll become kind of disconnected. It becomes too powerful, okay? So that's why, as you become the system, you're moving over to that flat collar. But again, so you're moving from, say, the pinch collar, you have the pressure collar on at the same time, those two on. Then once they feel really good about the pressure collar, then put that flat collar on. So now that, pinch collar goes away. When they're ready, they're like, okay, Dale, I feel, yeah, I'm good. I'm feel really good. But make sure you're outside with them. Make sure that they're setting this up so they have that control. You're creating that change, and then we can start to switch over more to the flat collar. But then the flat collar in calmer areas again. So it's all about transitioning the person to make sure they feel good about it. The psychology is changing. They have the control. Nothing bad's going to happen. They're not going to get pulled down because, again, safety first, right? And then just move from there. So anyway, hopefully this video helps. I just want to put out that message for people because there are there's some variances here. I mean, you get these really powerful dogs you know, you just can't do certain things very often. You have to understand you're changing the person. You know, they need control, okay? But then you want the device that represents both a little bit, okay? Again, because I don't hover on that, you know, I'll use the pressure collar, but again, it's what I call certain things secondary tools, just like a remote collar for the crate, okay? But because, see, this is the thing, because the script itself, because how you're investing in the methods, everything is how it's shading in, and everything makes more sense to the dog. Just understand that. It's like the weight of everything, okay? And when I say weight, I don't mean bad things here. I just mean, you know, you start to shade in, cover off, fill in the gaps, speak clear language, and, you know, everything makes sense to the dog. So anyway, just something to think about. Hopefully this explains the device transition a little bit. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So take care. Thanks for watching.